This is what we have to do.
Good afternoon. I didn't know the mic was that loud. Oh, this is such a great sight. You people all need to come up here and look back this way, see what I'm looking at. This is unbelievable. Thank you all for coming out, and especially on a, well, I guess this is a typical March Bradford day, but we're glad to see all of you here. You know, we're just truly grateful for the great support that all of you have shown the University of Pittsburgh at Bradford. As you know, today's a big day for all of us. A bricks and mortar milestone for Pitt-Bradford that's a result of extensive planning, hard work, has spanned decades with the coordination of many constituents. Over the years, many of you have been instrumental in working with campus leadership to envision the new programs in building and to provide tremendous support for this project. We are grateful for your support, which brings us here today. At this time, it's my pleasure to welcome to the podium Dr. Ann Cudd, who is the Provost and Senior Vice Chancellor at the University of Pittsburgh. Dr. Cudd.
Thank you, Craig. Wow. This is amazing. This is such a proud day for Pitt and Pitt-Bradford, and I am so privileged and honored to be here to help you celebrate it. This is just an incredible building. I've had a little bit of a chance to walk around and see all the great toys here. The students seem to be extremely proud. They're showing it off, and I'm very happy to see everybody. So I remember well the day in August of 2021 when we gathered here together to celebrate the groundbreaking for the George B. Duke Engineering and Information Technologies building. I've been so excited about this project that I have not missed an opportunity to drive up to Bradford to help celebrate every step of the way. It's incredibly gratifying that we're here today to fully realize a building that, as I said 2 years ago, points to the future for this campus and this region. A cutting-edge home for this campus's computer information systems and technology program and 2 new engineering technology programs is both exceptionally exciting and really a significant opportunity to energize the region. It would not have been possible without the commitment, vision, and guidance of many Pitt-Bradford's faculty members. You're going to hear from some of them today. Community members, you'll also hear from legislators. Thank you so much. And I know that in developing this new facility and new engineering technology major, Rick Esch and others from the campus met with many regional manufacturers and companies to learn of the great needs for engineering technology and information technology professionals to help sustain and transform the region. And I know actually we've probably been hearing from them for about 30 years. I heard about Lester Rice's strong support of this incredible engineering technology program, and I'm so glad it's come to be realized. The Duke building has especially equipped spaces where students can be their most creative selves, where they can be imaginative and innovative. Students from all majors are using the meeting spaces in the building to work on projects and to collaborate and challenge each other. When those students graduate, they'll be prepared to share their creativity and enthusiasm with regional businesses and industries, as well as, of course, employers beyond the region, but we want them to stay here and build here as well. I believe that this new building and the new engineering technology majors will enable us to enhance and expand regional internship, externship, and co-op opportunities for the students. In turn, I know that we all hope that graduates will be enticed to stay in the region, thus helping to invigorate their community. This is an exceptionally proud day for Pitt-Bradford, for the community, and for the University of Pittsburgh family as a whole. And to the many partners in this effort on campus and off, who have, through their hard work and dedication, have made this day possible, I want to say thank you and hail to Pitt.
And thank you for those tremendous comments. And I would be remiss if I didn't say to you that the Pitt-Bradford Advisory Board and the Pitt community thanks you for your leadership and help in getting us to this point with this building. So thank you very much. Okay, at this time, I'd like to invite to the podium Senator Chris Dush, who represents our home district here, Pennsylvania's 25th Senatorial District. Chris?
Thank you. For me, this is just fantastic, and I'll tell you why. When I was growing up in Brookville, Punxsutawney and Bradford were legitimate Quad A schools. Now we're down to about 125 students graduating from these classes instead of 400. Our best export in our part of Pennsylvania and Western Pennsylvania has been our working class kids for over 4 decades. It was industry that was keeping these communities alive, and as technologies changed, this right here, what you folks are doing, and I applaud the business owners, these manufacturing businesses and the technology businesses for working with Pitt to help develop this building, this facility, and the curriculum around this engineering concept, because quite honestly, I want to reverse the trend. You look, any state in the United States has got a Steelers bar in it, and that's our working class kids that have kept those things open. I want them back. I want them boomeranging back here. This is going to help us to make that happen. I want our kids and our grandkids back here. I want we have got so much to offer. I have lived in England, Korea, the Middle East at various times, and I got to tell you, there's no place in the world I'd rather live than what we've got right here in our part of the world. And I think when these Pitt students come to get the education that they're going to get, when they see that there are great opportunities here locally to use those skills and not only have a good living, but have a great way of life. That's what's going to benefit our communities. I'm very grateful for it, and I'm grateful that we're taking a regional approach to this. It can't be a lot of parochialism about one town or one county. I cover 7 counties, and I've had a footprint in 9 over the course of the last few years while I've been in the legislature. Rural Pennsylvania we've got a quality of life that you can't appreciate unless you go other places in the world. Again, I'm grateful for this whole team because it's been the community, it's been the business owners, it's been the faculty, the staff, and the board here at Pitt that have led the way on it. Congratulations to all of you. This is what teamwork can do. God bless every one of you.
Chris, thank you for those comments, and thank you for the support that you lend to not only Pitt-Bradford, but Pitt as a whole. We appreciate that because we are a team, and we're happy with the progress we're making, so thank you. Okay, at this time, I'd like to invite a good friend of ours, the Honorable Martin Kauser. Marty represents our home district here, the 67th District of the House of Representatives. Marty is a member of our advisory board here at Pitt-Bradford, is an alum of Pitt-Bradford, and as you all know, has been very supportive of Pitt-Bradford throughout the years. So it's all yours, Marty.
Thank you very much, Craig. What an exciting day for not only Pitt-Bradford but for our entire region. To get to this day, it's been a long journey, and a lot of work by so many people. And when I look back on the process and all the people that have worked on this, starting with Dr. McDowell sitting in the front row. When I first started representing this area 20 years ago, Dr. McDowell was right at my door. This won't surprise any of you. Right at my door talking about how we need engineering in Bradford. And he never stopped talking about it. And I will tell you that, well, I don't have to tell you, he's tenacious, and he he continually worked on this project that entire time and worked on it for decades. And so thank you, Dr. McDowell. Thank you, Dick. Thank you for your leadership and all your work on this issue. Without your work, we wouldn't be here today. So thank you. And continuing that leadership, we had Dr. Alexander come into office as our president. And he picked up the ball and continued moving it forward. I will tell you that Dr. Alexander and I talked about this project many, many times. And it was a matter of just continuing the momentum, continuing to work on it. And the person right beside him at that time was Rick Esch. So you all know that Rick has been working on this project for years. So to continue that work, Rick was right at the table, moving things forward. So we have been blessed here with quality leadership at this campus. Quality leadership that has continued to move the ball forward, and every hoop we had to jump through to make it to this day has been that leadership, working with everyone on this campus and outside this campus to make it happen. And, you know, I've been glad to be a part of that process. I was able to secure $6 million from the state to make this possible. But it didn't happen overnight. We had to continue working at it. We had to put it into the state's capital budget. We had to try to pry those dollars out of Harrisburg, and it happened incrementally. We were able to secure $2 million first, and that allowed us to start with the engineering and the design work and all the permitting that we had to secure. And then I had a commitment for $4 million. And when the letters came out, we only got one. I was a little disappointed and said some words that I won't repeat today, but the very next year, we got the rest of the $3 million. So a total of $6 million to support this project, and it's money well spent. Money well spent. In fact, there are some offices in Harrisburg that when I walk into, they say, "What does Pitt-Bradford need now?" And I consider that a good thing. So today, it is very fitting that we name this building after George Duke. George Duke, his generosity, his support, and his leadership have led us to this day also. All of the projects, quite honestly, all the projects that we've done on this campus have been with the support of George. And I can't overstate his leadership, his support, all that he's done, not only here in Pitt-Bradford, but in our community and in our region. So, George, I want to thank you. Thank you for all that you have done. It is very well deserved, and when you look at this building and the students that will walk through these doors, what you have done, your support, will benefit students for decades to come. So thank you. Folks, this is all about opportunity, educational opportunity. Now, we know that sometimes in rural Pennsylvania, there's a propensity to leave us behind. We have to fight for every single thing that we get and that we do. And this today is about opportunity. This is going to create educational opportunity for people in this entire region. We are going to train people here with world-class skills, and quite honestly, we're going to keep them here. And that's where that partnership with local industry is so vitally important. I've seen a lot of public projects, I've seen a lot of private projects, but to have a truly public-private partnership like this is just, it's monumental, and it's going to benefit this region for decades to come. So it's all about opportunity. I want to thank everyone who's had a part. When I started making some notes today, I started thanking some individuals. It's impossible because I'll forget somebody. But I would just like to say that many, many people have had a part in getting us to where we are today, and I want to thank you all, and students will benefit for decades to come. Thank you all very much.
Thank you, Marty, and know that we all really appreciate the support that you've shown us. You know, without that, we wouldn't, as you say, we wouldn't be here today. So thank you very much in your kind remarks. Okay, now it's my great honor and privilege, and I say that with all seriousness, to introduce our new president here at Pitt-Bradford. Now, Rick is somebody I've known a long time in many different positions. And, you know, it's just a great feeling to have a hometown boy rise to the rank of the presidency, much like Dick did when he came here in '73, but to rise to the presidency of Pitt-Bradford. And I think we are very fortunate to have Rick available to us, and the wise counsel from the provost and the chancellor of understanding what a great job Rick would do. So I'm just very pleased to introduce Rick for his comments.
Well, needless to say, there's a lot to be said, and there's a lot that's already been said, but I think we could almost name every name in this room who's got some skin in this game for this project on this day. So it is truly an exciting day, and to quote John Cleland, and this is an inside joke, it's not only a good day, it's a great day. This is like the best day in the history of this campus as far as opening up this project for this community. So again, George, I want to thank you for leading the way on this one more time. This beautiful building was a long time in the making. It was actually decades, in fact. But this building and the new engineering technology programs in it are tangible proof of what shared dedication, passion, and persistence can produce. We're very fortunate to have had several leaders on our campus over a long period of time and in our community who felt strongly that Pitt-Bradford needed to offer engineering programs, engineering technology programs, and have the kind of facility that would spark our students' creativity and ignite their innovative spirit, which we know, and I'll talk about in a minute, has been in this community for decades, in fact, since the 1880s. As a result, there were many hands that helped to create this new facility and develop these new engineering technology majors and support both of these efforts. There was Dr. Richard McDowell, who's been mentioned a couple times and who will be mentioned for decades to come. In some cases, we'll do it in a small room with a small group of people based on some of the stories that one could tell. So in mixed company, we'll have to avoid that. So, however, Dick, our second president, first identified the importance of offering engineering programs. When I started working here, it was a thing, and I started working here almost 30 years ago. It was, when I say it was a thing, it was something that was being pursued at that time. Along comes a guy by the name of Les Rice, Chairman Emeritus and former CEO of Koa Spear Electronics, who was laser focused on many things. Engineering technology was one of those many things. And as you see above you, the name of the academic program is named after Koa, but it's on behalf of Lester Rice, who's right over here on the wall. Very significant contributions to this effort. Dr. Livingston Alexander comes along. Now it's been 20 years ago, picked up the mantle, as Marty said, and kept pushing forward for engineering. And finally, with the support of Provost Cudd, we were able to advance this effort and to actually launch this program. And so we're very excited and thankful for both Dr. Alexander and Provost Cudd for that effort, for those efforts. And in between there, Dr. Alexander leaves, and Larry Fike's here for a year. And Larry Fike is here somewhere. I'd like to just have Larry raise his hand. He's hiding in the back. But Larry, as an interim president, being inside to Pitt, was able to really keep things moving and advance the approval of the program, as well as keeping the building concept moving forward. So we had good continuity, and that's really what made it happen. It seems like it was quickly, but it was over a long period of time, but it was because of these people. George Duke and his family, who not only contributed to this new building, but have been very generous and longtime supporters of the campus for decades. Again, thank you, George. One more time. We also received significant support from our elected officials. Representative Marty Kauser, who provided remarks, helped secure the $6 million in state funds. And I still have on my phone, if anybody wants to listen later, the recorded messages that Marty would leave me when he was giving me the updates on where we're at with that funding. And some of them did have some words that were pretty colorful.
Late at night sometimes.
Yeah. I still have them on my phone. So it was an exciting moment. And again, Marty, thank you for your support there. And Senator Chris Dush, who recognizes the importance of these programs in this facility, so our students who will graduate will have the tools and the expertise to be able to serve this region and stay in this region and work for our area companies. Thank you for your support, Chris. Our McKean County Commissioners, two of which I believe are here today, Carol Duffy and Tom Kreiner, are here today, and Cliff Lane, also supportive throughout this. Maybe Cliff is here as well. They helped us with our application for our RACP funding, and they're actually the applicant for the funds that came through to the university. So thank you for being a part of this. And Congressman Glenn Thompson, who we met with earlier today and had a talk about this new facility, and he was here to thank George for his contribution, but Glenn Thompson also sends his regards and appreciation for everything that you all did to support this, and to George for helping us make this happen. There were also many people who were either on site or behind the scenes to ensure that the construction went well. The late Pete Buheit, who spent his whole career here, was instrumental right in the beginning. We selected the architect. Pete was part of that process. Rhett Kennedy, who is here today, our former Director of Facilities Management, who took over the responsibilities of facilities management when Pete retired. Wayne Sperry, who was our interim facilities director for about 18 months, who is here today with his wife as well, Ethel, to celebrate this occasion. We thank Wayne for his support on providing the day-to-day oversight and support of this project. Greg Miller, who is a man of many talents, who is around here somewhere, probably hiding in a corner, has been really amazing with this project. He wears many hats, and literally he was in the trenches when the building was being built, and he's still here tinkering, making sure that there's perfection in everything that's in this building. So Greg, thank you. Jack Ray, our current Director of Facilities Management, who is new, but he has also made contributions to this effort. Alan Swanson, who many of you know from Carl E. Swanson and Sons Construction, worked tirelessly throughout this 18-20 months to make sure that on a day-to-day basis this project was on track, on budget, and that the details were being tended to so that we would have the building that we have today. Dave Brown, who's with us today, he's a Pitt project manager from Pittsburgh. Dave is in the back. Dave, raise your hand. He was instrumental from planning through design, through construction, and is here today to celebrate this milestone. And then we had some other folks in facilities. It's a big list. I'll mention a few. I think several of them are here. Dan Marcinko, Ron Lebo, Jody Horn, Jeremy Facero, Tom O'Toole. And there's more behind them. And then there were many manufacturers and business partners who provided input as we developed the new engineering technology programs, assisted us as we equipped the building to make sure we had the right types of equipment in the space, to make sure that we were training the students with the right types of equipment so that they would be prepared to not only come in and work, but to lead the industries that are in the region. And their financial commitment to this project. We couldn't have done it without all of you. And at the top of the list, Zippo, Mukiyami Rice Foundation, the Koa Spear Electronics Company, Pembroke Foundation, Holleran Philanthropies and ARG, Northwest Bank, Control Chief, Hamlin Bank and Trust Company, Napoleon Engineering Services, George A. and Margaret Me Foundation, Sarah Duke, and there were many others that made contributions to this project that were significant. These organizations and many others are anxious to hire our well-prepared engineering technology and information technology graduates, which will help to strengthen our businesses and our region. To all of you, the leaders, the advocates, the planners, the builders, the partners, the collaborators, and the very generous supporters, please let me express my profound gratitude. Your vision, dedication, commitment helped us to achieve this long time and important goal. And it is fitting that this new building, which is our campus's hub for technology and innovation, sits in a region where throughout our history, innovators developed new technologies and products that have been used throughout our region, the United States, and the world. Zippo lighters, dresser couplings, case knives, the Holley carburetor, Taylor and Piper aircrafts, all here. This region truly is the home of innovation, and this new building, along with the new majors housed in it, will enable our students to contribute their own unique innovations, creativity to this region and beyond, and ultimately will benefit us all. Thank you all for joining us today for this very exciting day for our students, our faculty, our staff, and our region. Thank you.
Thank you, Rick. Thank you. George and I were talking a little bit before, and I told him how pleased we all were that he allowed us to use his name on this building. As many of you know, George is not one to go around and put his name on buildings. He doesn't. He's shy of that, I think. But his great support here at Pitt-Bradford, which has been mentioned numerously today, culminates with this building here. So it's my great pleasure and honor to introduce George Duke.
Thank you. Thank you to you all. What an incredible honor. I think never in my life would I ever think I'd be standing before such an esteemed group and be thinking, having a building named after you. And when you say a building, this is the most incredible building that anybody could ever have named after yourself. Back when I agreed to do the contribution, we did it, we announced it to Pitt, and my esteemed CEO, Mark Popp, went off, as he generally does, and he started thinking. And he came back and he says, you know what? We can make this really cool. I said, well, what are you talking about? He goes, well, I've been talking to Tim Van Horn, our Vice President of Manufacturing. I've talked to a few other people. And let's think about it as this. Let's think about this as a collaboration between the money that I'm giving, but a collaboration with Pitt and a collaboration with Zippo and Case. And how this would all work is we come up with intern people coming out to the factory and doing internments and stuff like that, working on equipment that is somewhat going to be new here, but the same equipment that has been being used in our factory for a number of years. So you have this interaction idea going on. And I thought, you know, that is a fantastic way to go with this thing. I think he got with Rick, and they both talked, and then I think there was some more discussion going on, probably at higher levels, and it was adopted. And this, I think, was an incredible win for UPB. A great way to interact with the students who are getting their engineering degree, having them come out to Case, Zippo, but let's think about the other manufacturers in town, okay? Have them come out there and get on the site training, okay? We got to get this order out. What are you going to do to help us to get this order out? So it's these real world experiences that I think was fantastic what you came up with, Mark. And that is part of what I think that I wanted to say today, and how well it's all worked out, and it's going to work out, you know. The second part of that I call it, and I call it winning, you know. Zippo wins in what I just talked about. Zippo wins, the university wins. The second part of the winning is when UPB comes up and they build this engineering school, okay? This is second to none. This is a second to none facility. There'll be people banging the doors to get in this place. And what it does is it helps round out what this university offers. And it becomes a destination, a true destination for people from all over. And that is the win-win that I see out of it. It's win-win when they come to Zippo and work for us and do this type of thing. It's a win-win when we have this incredible engineering school here and a university that's just taken about 10 steps more forward to having a very, very well-rounded campus. I want to go into just a little bit of a story, and I'm so glad that this gentleman is here, because fairly recently I learned that quite a bit of time ago, University of Pittsburgh, through Dr. McDowell, was trying to get a school of engineering here. And there were a lot of roadblocks that were going on. But he had this vision. And unfortunately, this engineering school wasn't built. I wish it had been built. I really do. But I want to just take my hat off to Mr. McDowell, Dr. McDowell, for having that idea, to try and push that along. And finally today, we have this engineering school here. And, you know, without you first doing it, I don't know where we might be. So that is also a huge win. When I look at this engineering school, and I've been around Zippo for, well, 45 years, but in the last, say, 30 years, I've seen the company, and to some degree over at Case, maybe not that long, but I have seen at Zippo, our equipment runs out. You know, it just wears out. And so when we go to replace a piece of equipment, there are a lot of things on our mind that we want to incorporate into this new piece of equipment. A lot of it can be automation. A lot of it is to reduce speed in making the parts, and certainly increasing the hell out of the number of parts that you're going to manufacture. With that said, the pieces of equipment that come into our company today are very, very, very complicated. Very complicated. They take engineers to keep running. They really do. This is, these are, as I said, highly sophisticated pieces of equipment, but without an engineer that is watching over it, making sure that it's running the way it should run, we could run into all kinds of problems. And that's not just Zippo. That's going on in every manufacturer all over this country. And there are a lack of engineers that I speak of that can be doing this type of a job. So we got a great thing going on here. I hope that the students that come here to Pitt to get their engineering degree, I hope there's about 4 or 5 local manufacturers who are bidding up and up and up, because we want that guy and we want him to stay here in Bradford and we want him to work for our company. And that should be the most important thing that we try to achieve as we go forward. I want to thank the university. I want to thank for all the praises and compliments that have been given to me today. I can't tell you I've ever had anything in my life that I'm as honored as I am today with dedicating this building. I look forward to sneaking out here and maybe trying to have these guys let me play around with some of this equipment. You guys look the other way, okay? So, but it's an incredible school. I'm so happy to be here, and I'm incredibly happy to be so honored. Thank you so very much.
George, thank you for your comments, and thank you for letting us honor you in this way. And also, thank you for sharing that story about collaboration. It's not something that I had thought about when we were originally talking about the engineering program here, but what a great story, and I'm sure that's even going to help build this program faster and bigger.
It's going to help us at Zippo and Case, but it's also going to help your students here with on-the-site, on-the-job experiences.
Absolutely, yeah. So thank you again, George. Yes. All right, now I'd like to introduce Chris Napoleon. Chris is the president and chief engineer for Napoleon Engineering in Olean, New York. But we have our hooks into Chris even a little tighter. He was very involved in the Alumni Association, still is, here at Pitt, and also serves on the Pitt Advisory Board. And he's a lot younger than I am, so we have a lot of good plans for Chris as we move forward. So, Chris, your podium.
Thank you. This building dedication, and perhaps this day, is special to each of us in different ways. An interesting phrase to describe my feelings is return on investment. I stepped onto this campus for the first time in 1986 as a young mechanical engineering student. I was influenced by many, including Dr. Frieda and Dr. Ron Mattis, some of our original engineering professors. They invested their time and engineering expertise in me for 2 years. I continued my education on our main campus, culminating in a prestigious engineering degree from the University of Pittsburgh. Pitt's investment in me enabled the creation of a business that prospers and continues to grow. The return on that investment comes full circle with the vision and creation of this amazing physical space. But it's the people that are impacted by it that define the full return on that investment. With this building, we now have professors that we in manufacturing can share our experiences, technology, and needs with. Those experiences are funneled directly to their students. The beauty of that return on investment is where those students are from. The presence of 4-year engineering technology programs at Pitt-Bradford in this building means that students are more likely to be from the local area, and more importantly, more likely to stay here upon graduation. Current students like Michael Berlinski, and even my son, Gus, can obtain internships and permanent work opportunities from our local manufacturers when they stay on this campus for 4 years and live locally. That's the return on investment that means so much to me, and it will have a profound impact on our regional businesses and the sustainability of our area as a whole. My family and I, along with my coworkers at Napoleon Engineering Services, thank you. Thank you for the opportunity to be part of a monumental program at Pitt-Bradford with real return on investment. I'll go off script for a little bit. You know, when I had the opportunity to walk through this building a couple weeks ago, and the word that came to my mind was, it's awesome. It is awesome. But we still have awesome work to do. We're not successful yet until we fill this school with students. And it's all of our responsibility. Every one of us out here, we have the responsibility to promote this program, to engage in this program, to give those internships, to talk to the professors and tell them what we do and why we need their students to learn here so that they can get to the starting line, to get on the track and get to the starting line, to have the key to open up our door. We understand that we will still need to get them to the finish line to do what we need them to do. But it starts here. It starts with filling this awesome space with awesome students from right in our own backyard. Thank you very much.
Very inspiring, Chris, and way to put pressure on your son. That's, you know. At this time, I'd like to introduce and invite Dr. Matt Croft to the podium. Matt serves as director of the American Refining Group Harry R. Holloran Jr. Energy Institute here at Pitt. He is the director of the Engineering Technology Programs, serves as faculty senate president, and is an associate professor of engineering technology. And now that I've said all that, there's going to be a lot of pressure on Rick Esch to pay him more, I would imagine. So, Matt, it's all yours.
Yeah, well, that's a heck of an introduction. Thank you. It is a great honor, honestly, an honor of a lifetime to be on the stage for this momentous occasion. You've already heard the long history leading up to this moment, but I want to share it from my perspective. Because I knew this outcome was inevitable from the very beginning of my career here at Pitt-Bradford. In fact, before my career even started, during my interview for the director of the Energy Institute, Harry Holloran Jr., may he rest in peace, was on the phone, and he made this goal clear. Our region needs energy and engineering graduates from our campus in order to survive. Just a few days after I was hired, I'm at my first reception on campus, and a certain president emeritus, who I didn't know yet, literally grabs me by the arm and pulls me close. We need 4-year engineering programs on our campus. Okay. And this goal was echoed every single industry contact I made in the area, every single time. So being new, I was naive enough to think that it was just the simple work of working out some curriculum. In the 12 years that followed, I learned there was quite a few more pieces that had to be put in place, and that's where I'd like to start with my thank yous. Thank you, Provost Cudd, for giving our campus the green light to develop a 4-year engineering technology program on our campus. Thank you to our elected officials and the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania for recognizing the vital importance of higher education to the economic success of our community and region. Thank you to the countless number of donors, without which this building and the equipment in it wouldn't be here today. I'm truly inspired by your generosity. And I have to thank so many other folks, and we can't name them all, but there's a lot of folks here at Pitt-Bradford that are really special. So many folks here have taken it upon themselves to go far above and beyond to help with every aspect of making this building the best possible setting for our students. From the person who helped oversee the solar array and even built that stand so you can see the panels. And by the way, we have let me check, currently the largest solar array in the University of Pittsburgh system. It won't stay that way. Our sister campus in Pittsburgh has got some great projects coming up. But to the person who offered to figure out how to get a 3,000-pound piece of equipment off a pallet without a forklift, to the person that helped figure out retrofits as we needed them, as we changed our equipment needs, as the building was built, to the person who most likely wired up this microphone and probably vacuumed the floor voluntarily a few times this week. And you can see why I can't list them all, because that was all just one person. So I want to thank the incredible staff at Pitt-Bradford that continue to give their all to make this place a place that anyone should be proud to work at. But I know all that generosity and all those efforts weren't just to make a great place for me to come to work. And this is a great place to come to work. Nice job, Sean. That's the architect. But this building and the tools in it are in place to serve a much greater purpose that's been highlighted today. This space is where we're going to produce the next generation that are going to finally fill the vital need for technical workforce in our community and region, and we're not going to stop there. I expect our graduates will follow in the long line of entrepreneurs and innovators from this region and join the ranks of this generous and hardworking community, leaving their own mark in the future. And so while we're about to cut this ribbon here in a few moments, it might feel like crossing a finish line. Please know that I and my colleagues here see this as a starting gate. We're just getting started. And I couldn't be more optimistic at what our students are poised to do with this space. Thank you.
Thank you, Matt, and we certainly had the confidence in your leadership from the very beginning on this program that it will be a great success. And even though Matt comes to us from Penn State, I think he bleeds the blue and gold at this point, so thank you. At this time, and you're going to enjoy this, I'm going to invite Michael Berlinski, a junior engineering and technology student, to the podium. But when I was talking with Matt and Michael before the event here, Matt assured me that someday Michael will have a building named for him out here. That's how good this young man is. So, Michael, it's all yours.
Good afternoon, folks. I want to thank you, first of all, to the University of Pittsburgh at Bradford for allowing me to speak at such a prestigious ceremony. As was just stated, my name is Michael Berlinski. I am a 21-year-old junior studying in the Energy Engineering Technology program on this campus. Now a little backstory on how my journey to this campus began. In June 2020, 3 years ago this June, I graduated high school with Gus Napoleon, just as the COVID pandemic kicked off, so perfect timing. At this time, I was enrolled at the State University in New York at Buffalo, or simply UB. I was majoring in a dual program with aerospace and mechanical engineering. My first year was completely online in my home, Allegheny, New York, half an hour just north of here. I found classes to be a little challenging compared to high school. However, the students in the Zoom classes, as they would be, would at least double that of my high school classes. Mind you, my high school classrooms were about 20 people at most. This little fact put me a little on edge due to my little lack of experience in just such a large setting of students my age, all competing for the same degree and jobs that I would be doing. Professors offered office hours during the time, but between technology and timing, there just wouldn't always work. Once my freshman year was completed, COVID restrictions became a little more relaxed in the state and campus, and I was able to live and study in person. This changed my outlook to a little more optimistic one, as I could study with the friends I had made and go to physical office hours and figured I could talk to professors and staff there. During this time, my main supporter became sick and was diagnosed with leukemia. I was fortunate enough to spend a more extended period of time with him since my schooling was online for my freshman year. In August, a few weeks before my fall semester started, My grandfather passed away at the age of 85. Seeing as my grandpa was one of my closest family members and a man I truly looked up to, who had just passed away, my sense of optimism was a little diminishing and my future was unclear. When I began my semester in person, I was quickly shown just truly how large these classes were. My Physics 2 classroom was in a room, an auditorium size, with 265 kids in it. That was just one classroom. On top of this, similar to the microphone here, professors would wear the microphones to propel their voices. But seeing as you'd sit so close to the stage, you can hear them in person, then from the speakers, it was like just impossible to understand. One of my smaller classes was thermodynamics, which still at least had 50 kids in one lecture hall. Now, being in person, I could truly just feel how small and different it was from what I was used to for so many years. As the semester ticked on, I am not ashamed to admit my grades were not the best. I ended up dropping my Physics 2 class to allocate more time for my other classes so I could get through the semester. With the loss of my grandfather still fresh in my mind and my slower ability to learn compared to other students, it was seemingly becoming more and more difficult to keep going. However, I was not determined to quit. I had just gotten started and I wasn't ready to bail out of engineering just yet. As Frank Sinatra famously sang in his song, "That's Life," each time I find myself flat on my face, I pick myself up and get back in the race. That's life. Obviously, I needed a change in course for college. Still determined to graduate in engineering, I took the spring 22 semester off, last spring, to explore more opportunities more locally. I reached out to Alfred State, New York, which was a campus I know a lot of my friends and other engineers went to, as they had an engineering program that was similar to the one that was developed here. It seemed a little more up my alley. After speaking with engineers that I knew and visiting local industries, such as Napoleon Engineering Services and Olean, I was ever more determined to keep going. While looking and talking to I knew they had a 2-year transfer program on this campus before, being the mechanical and then transferring to a larger university to finish up the study. However, after talking to Mr. Napoleon, who really helped push me to keep me going in engineering, if it wasn't for him, I probably would have taken a different path. I was reading along, and I was reading that this campus was developing a 4-year program in a brand new building. Doesn't get much better than that. So on a day, pretty similar today, a nice, beautiful, cold, rainy day, I came and visited, and what I was, greeted with was a big, large skeletal structure. The ground was very muddy, and I remember my mom remarking that some of the construction workers looked like they were wearing hip waders, just getting things going. But even with the mud and just the skeletal I-beams and stuff, you could really tell this building was going to be something special. So in the fall, I decided that this was the place I was going to be, and I started here in September. Now, very quickly, I realized this was a lot different than Buffalo, New York. There's not a highway just right off campus. It's a lot quieter, calmer. Everybody's going their own pace. And it seemed even the professors, like Dr. Kropp, they went their own speed, and everything was just more relaxed. During my time touring, I met with Dr. Kropp, and we were discussing the new building, looking at drawings and blueprints of where the machine shops and classrooms were going to be. And I'm really honored to be speaking in that building today. After that little meeting, it was pretty much just all bets were off. This was the place I think I wanted to finish my program and get my degree in. I was really, really surprised with the campus, with the construction, just starting off my schooling here, how small the classes really became. My 265-person lecture went to about a dozen so kids, which was a lot more tame for me. If I needed, I felt that I could just raise my hand and ask questions without batting an eye, or the professors could offer their time to me for any assistance. I remember at the start of this semester, Professor Strauss. He's the creative engineering director for the machine shop and that here. I missed his class by about 15 or 20 minutes, and he wants us to get there pretty early, so had to bail myself out of that one. Fortunately enough, me and my other engineering companions, the George B. Duke building was open this semester, and we are just really eager just to get on the machines, get in the classrooms, and just experience this. I would be lying if I said I didn't spend most of my time in this building. Monday through Friday, I'm here, God, I don't even know, 8 hours a day. A lot. It's like a full-time job being here. Me and my fellow engineering students are very much warming up to the space, as are other students studying in the study rooms. And we're very eager to continue our academic careers here. The space feels welcoming to students who are more mechanically inclined and those who are not so much like myself but are willing to learn how to use the machines to help create projects or creations that they wish. I would like to personally thank everyone who supported the dream of making this building a reality. Your impact will not only be reflected in my life, but in the lives of the students who will continue to use this building for years to come. Thank you for your generosity and continued support in my future and in my fellow students' future. Thank you.
You know, in the many years that I've served out here on the advisory board, one of the greatest joys I get is listening to students talk and give presentations. Well, you just heard one of the best ones. So I could see why Matt is so high on you, Michael. Thank you very much, and thank you very much for sharing your personal position on this building. And I'm sure George feels pretty good about you too. So, all right. At this time, I'd like to ask the members of the platform party to please join Rakesh and myself and George. I think we're going to cut the ribbon, George.
Great.
We're going to formalize this thing. Wonderful. Yeah. Just be careful. We got to go down in front. Sure. So just be careful.
Excellent. Very appropriate.
You know those? In case you don't know, the scissors are made by Case Cutlery.